Welcome to the darkness. This is the Dark Shadow Ninja, and I just got done seeing Batman v Superman about 2 days ago. Had some time to think it over, and man, was it amazing! Wasn't it awesome? Wasn't it spectacular how they can take Batman and Superman, two of the most iconic comic book superheroes, put them on the same screen together in live action, and make such a mediocre film? Now, I say the film's mediocre by simple mathematics. Or even a simpler way of explaining it is if I had a cake and it has two ingredients in it. One of the ingredients I really like, one of the ingredients I really don't like. It's an okay cake. This is an okay movie. Has some things I really loved in the movie, and has some things I really hated in the movie. Not the worst movie I ever seen, not the best movie I ever seen. And if you didn't like Man of Steel, chances are you'll feel that way about this movie as well. So I don't like Zack Snyder films. I don't like Goyer films. So I knew I probably wouldn't like this film, and I pretty much knew what I was getting into. I was shocked by some of the things that I thought I was going to enjoy. Some of them I ended up enjoying a lot. Like, I really, really like them. I thought they were super well executed. And things I thought that were gonna screw up on, yeah, they did. They screwed up just as bad as I thought they were gonna screw it up as. Not worse though, so that's a good sign, right? So I was gonna go and like have this movie, have all the pros and list all the pros first, and then go through all the cons. But for every pro in this movie, there's a con. Like, everything I really loved in this movie, there's something I really hated. For everything I disliked in this movie, there's something I like. So I'm just gonna go through it the best way I can. And we'll start off with the Batman of the movie. Since the beginning of the movie this movie pretty much is the Batman movie with Superman in it. So Superman fans probably won't like this movie. Batman fans will love this movie more than likely, because nowadays it seems like Batman fans love anything as long as Batman's in it and not, sucking or getting beat up. So you'll like this movie. The pros of this movie. So the Batman from the Arkham series games, which that Batman to me is the definitive Batman. That's pretty much the Batman we get. Overall, I would say. Uses detective skills, uses gadgets, uses kung fu, using the grappling moves, uses the grappling hook, actually kicks people. He breaks bones. He throws bat rings at criminals' hands, disarming them of their weapons, preventing them from shooting him. There's no stupid bell voice. There's no of this. He's acrobatic and nimble, especially for somebody in who's wearing a suit of armor. And speaking of the suit, the bat suit in fabric looks really well done. I believe that was a Zack Snyder idea, so good job, Zack. Speaking of Zack Snyder, a lot of his films, I love the visuals of, and that's it. I usually don't like the acting in any of his movies. I usually hate the story in all of his movies, so overall, I avoid Zack Snyder movies. I wouldn't seen this because it was free for me to do so. If it wasn't, then I wouldn't have seen the movie. I would have either went and got it spoiled for me on the internet, or waited till I watched it at a friend's house who bought the Blu-ray or something like that. So anyways, the Batmobile was awesome in this movie too. The Batmobile was an actual car and not a tank. It had gadgets in it, and shows Batman knows how to handle himself behind the wheel. So that was really, really well done as well. So the cons of this movie are that, of this Batman, are that he kills people intentionally, and then intentionally uses guns to kill people. So those are usually the definitive Batman identities. This is Batman because he dresses up in a bat suit, uses gadgets, he's a detective, he knows kung fu, he's sneaky, and he doesn't kill people, and he doesn't use guns. Those are two standards of what is Batman. When people are listing all the things Batman is, those are two things that are listed amongst his, as a part of his character. So those two things are thrown out the window, and most people just shouldn't say most people. Some people just accepted it. I didn't just accept it. I still thought it was a good overall Batman, aside from those two things, which makes this not Batman. It makes it like an Elseworld Batman, which we're supposed to view this as an Elseworld Batman anyways. My problem with that is I want actual Batman on, on screen, live action, before we can get to these Elseworld stories. Like, imagine your first version of a character you've seen on screen, your favorite character, was the Elseworld version of him. Most of us, that's why most people's complaining was, oh, we don't need a Miles Morales story till we get a good Spider-Man story, right? Isn't that what most people are saying? Even though we're gonna get what character are we gonna get? Oh, Captain Marvel. We're gonna get a Captain Marvel, which is used to be Miss Marvel, without getting Captain Marvel. We're not going to get that guy. We're going to just skip over straight to a Captain Marvel movie. But we can't skip over Peter Parker and give us a Miles Morales movie. So likewise, we skipped over actual Batman and got Elseworld Thomas Wayne Batman in this movie. He calls himself Bruce Wayne, but this is essentially Thomas Wayne Batman. Other than that, let's go into Superman. So the pros of this Superman are, he's clearly super. They did a good job establishing this is just, he's powerful. He has super speed. He has super strength. He has super hearing. He has super eyes. He can fly, and the flying looked really well done in this movie, as well as the floating. Which, if you watch the Supergirl TV show, her when she's just hovering in space, it's clear that she's on wires. It looks kind of awkward. There was none of that in this movie. It was really well done. The suit is bright, not as bright as Supergirl, but that doesn't matter because most of this movie takes place in the dark. Yeah, then that's weird. Like, you see Superman primarily in the dark, like a Batman movie, because like I said, it's primarily a Batman movie. Most of the scenes are at night, or at least in the dark. So those parts of Superman were done really well. I like the costume. I don't miss the red Speedo that he used to wear. I don't miss that at all, even though that's the iconic part of Superman's outfit. It's an iconic part that I never really cared for, so I don't miss that it's gone. And speaking of iconic Superman, that was one of the things about Superman was, from my understanding, I'm not a huge Superman fan. All my knowledge of Superman goes to a few Superman comic runs I read, pre-52, pre the new 52, and then the animated universe, like DC animated universe Superman. So that version of Superman is definitive Superman to me, like the Tim Daly Superman. One of the key things about that Superman as a character is he doesn't kill people. This Superman, like this Batman, kills people. And people made it, they defended it in the Man of Steel, like, oh, he had to kill Zod. That wasn't the issue for me. The issue was they wrote that he had to kill Zod. Like, this is our first introduction to Superman. I prefer him to be so powerful that he doesn't have to kill people. That's one, like, as a person who's not a Superman fan, those are things I liked about Superman, was the fact that he was so powerful, he didn't have to kill anybody. He found out a way to stop them without killing them, and still found a way to save the day. So he didn't have to kill anybody. But this version of Superman not only had to kill Zod then, apparently he has to kill people in this one as well. It's like, I think one of the first scenes we see of him when he rescues Lois Lane is he takes a dude through brick walls, who had Lois at gunpoint. Like, yeah, that guy's dead. I don't see a way where Superman could have took him out of that situation, living. At first I thought he was gonna super heat up the gun or something, but no, he just instantaneously appeared next to him and sent him through a brick wall. It's a cool scene, but that dude's dead, And then speaking of Superman saving people, I can only recall him saving somebody from immediate danger 2 times, and then both those people were Lois Lane. That instant where he took that guy who had her at gunpoint through the brick wall, killing him, and then the other time when she was thrown off a building by Lex Luthor, and he flew down and caught her. That was it. I can't recall him saving anybody else from immediate danger throughout the movie. So that's why I can see a lot of people not enjoying the film, because it's a superhero. It has two superheroes in it, but it's not a superhero film because they aren't doing anything super heroic. You know. Um, I guess we'll go to all the next. We'll go into all the cameos. Oh, actually, there's some more things I like. Like the movie has some comedy in it too. Like everything Perry White said was hilarious. The look on Batman's face when the kryptonite wore off on Superman was also hilarious. Batman, after he did that awesome scene where he's like using a Batmobile, taking out criminals, shooting people. Yes, Batman intentionally shooting and killing people in the bat. Sounds like oxymoron to most people. Some people don't care. I'm one of those who didn't like it. Intentionally shooting and killing people. He comes around the corner and there's just Superman standing there, who didn't stop him from running through and killing and shooting all these people, but he was there to stop Batman. So he's just there. So Batman's like, man, forget this dude. Tries to run him over and the Batmobile just bounces off of him. That was hilarious. And hence the first encounter of Batman and Superman. That was pretty funny. Next are the cameos. I'm gonna go through. So the first cameo I believe I can think of, because we did get Diana Prince. Before she was Wonder Woman, she didn't show up as Wonder Woman till the end of the movie. I'll get into that right after I start off from with these other cameos. So Batman took some information from Lex Luthor, who it looks like took that information from Star Labs about metahumans in the world. And one of them being the Flash, which they showed the Flash when he's warning Batman about Superman pretty much becoming the Injustice version of Superman, which in my opinion we have anyways. He's pretty much that version of Superman anyways. So he's warning Batman about that version, and the futuristic Flash costume looks stupid to me. I didn't like it whatsoever. And then the acting as well. I forgot the name of the guy who's playing the Flash. I wasn't digging it. I wasn't buying him as Barry Allen or Wally West or any incarnation of the Flash. But I guess this is an Elseworld story, so this is Elseworld Flash. But this new Flash, I didn't dig. Hopefully the movie turns out well and his acting improves. The cameo I can recall was Cyborg. It was pretty much the scene from Justice League War, the animated that animated movie, where Cyborg, except for that was probably done better, but this is still really well done in this film. Because before, when it said Cyborg was getting a solo movie, I'm like, how Sway? Like I couldn't see Cyborg holding his own movie, but that scene made me believe that Cyborg could hold his own movie. Even though we didn't get a chance to see Cyborg, talking or anything like that, just yelling in pain as he becomes Cyborg, as the mother box assimilates with his corpse, or well, I guess it wasn't a corpse, but with the rest of his body, which his dad kept alive somehow. And Cyborg apparently is just a head and a torso and half of an arm, similar to like RoboCop. Well, the new RoboCop, that last RoboCop we had. Anyways, that was decent. The other cameo I can recall was Aquaman. So Aquaman, they first showed him like in the depths of the ocean, I assume, and like you just see two glowing eyes peering out of the darkness. Then you see Jason Momoa's sinister face appear out, and I think he like poked a camera out the water with like his trident. Like the underwater scene looked amazing. I can see Aquaman movie taking place majority underwater and still being great. Only thing that looked weird to me in that scene was it looked like he was holding his breath. Maybe he was. The problem with that is Aquaman can breathe on the water. That's like a part of his character. Another unnecessary, non-beneficial change, it seems. Next is the last one, I believe, is Wonder Woman. So Wonder Woman's introduction, brilliant. It was amazing. The music, the cinematography, everything was just great. She battled with the sword and shield. She reflect things with her bracer. She acted like a warrior, like what I'd imagine a Wonder Woman to act like. She had a lasso of truth and everything. It was great. The only my only beef with the Wonder Woman, this new Wonder Woman, which I overlooked because everything else was so great, was Gal Gadot. To me, still doesn't look physically like the part. She physically doesn't look like an Amazonian princess. Like she still just looks like a model, like a frail supermodel in a Wonder Woman costume. This is what she looks like to me. Gina Torres or Gina Carano look like Wonder Woman. They look like people who actually physically hurt anyone, and mythological creatures. So that was Wonder Woman. I'm on board for a Wonder Woman solo movie so far based on that scene. Now, the actual fight between Batman v Superman was it was okay. Like, I mean, if you compare it to The Dark Knight Returns Part 2, which is a better overall Batman v Superman movie, that fight scene made this fight scene look boring. Which I'm huge for action scenes. I'm huge on choreography, and you know, it is the best I could see coming from this team. It was all right. It wasn't the greatest fight ever. It was short, and it couldn't even it could have been stopped had Superman simply tried to talk to Batman from the beginning instead of trying to be macho. So Lois Lane wins that fight. Essentially, Lois Lane wins that fight by speaking of Martha, because spoiler alert, Batman and Superman's mothers have the same name. Ooh, so the saying Martha is apparently Batman's kryptonite. Kryptonite was done pretty well in this movie. It was kind of hokey how it was introduced. I thought like Lex Luthor was gonna create it in his laboratory, which he kind of did. But like they found it at the bottom of the ocean, and in the Indian Ocean, I believe. And that was just it. Like what? Like that was it. Just found some radioactive material, and they all knew that it could be used to damage Kryptonians. Like that was really, I don't know. It didn't come together well. There's a lot going on in the movie. Like I said, the parts that were excellent, like the best parts, the parts I liked in the movie were done really well. But like for every one of those, there was at least two other scenes that were like done poorly, or like choices with the characters that didn't benefit the story or the characters. So overall, it was an okay film. Someone has it on TV, sit down and watch it for those scenes. But if you didn't like Man of Steel, and you don't like the idea of Batman killing people, you don't like the idea of Batman using guns, you don't like the idea of Superman killing people, and you don't like the idea of him only rescuing Lois Lane out from immediate danger 2 times in a whole movie, you're probably not gonna like this movie. It's probably best for you to save your money and then watch Zootopia, because that was an actual better overall movie. And that will conclude my review. This has been the Dark Shadow Ninja. Step into the light.